Good morning, students. Today we'll discuss about uniform circular motion and or magnitude of centripetal force. In this part, we are going to see how Newton was able to assume the inverse square distance dependence on distance in his law and how Kepler's third law helped him. Here, we are considering an object which is moving in a circular path with constant speed. And we have learned in our previous part that when an object is moving in a circular path with constant speed, there is a force which is acting on it which is directed towards the center of the circle. And this force is called the centripetal force. Here we are considering the mass, speed and radius of the circle. So the centripetal force can be written as mv square by r. If the object that we are considering is a planet, that means the planet is revolving around the sun and in a circular orbit in uniform circular motion. Then the centripetal force acting on the planet can be given as F is equal to mv square r. Here m is the mass of the planet, v is the speed of the planet and r is the distance between the sun and the planet. V is the speed. So speed can be calculated with the help of the formula distance travelled by time taken. The distance travelled by the planet is the one revolution, the perimeter of the orbit. That will be the distance travelled by the planet. And the time taken is the period of revolution. That means the time taken to complete one revolution. So the distance becomes 2 pi r, that is the perimeter of a circular orbit, upon capital T, that is the period of revolution. Let's put the value of V in the formula of centripetal force, that is mv square r. When we are substituting the value of speed, we get m into 2 pi r upon T the whole square upon r cube. When you open the brackets, the value you get is 4m pi square r by t square. We are going to divide and multiply this equation with r square. Then what happens is, we have the formula 4m pi square r by t square into r square upon r square. So I am dividing and multiplying this equation by r square. The value I get is 4m pi square r cube r square into t square. We have learned about Kepler's third law. In Kepler's third law, it was given t square by r cube is a constant. When I inverse this equation, I get r cube by t square is equal to 1 upon k. If there is nothing in the denominator, it is upon 1. So if I inverse it, it will be 1 upon k. So I am substituting this value in the previous equation. So F is equal to 4m pi square into upon r cube into r cube by t square. This I have just taken into a different part, differently, so that it can be easy for us to understand. That's all. That is 4m pi square. So this entire value here which I have given, this has been given as 1 upon k. And that becomes 4m pi square r square k. Here, if you observe this, 4 is a constant, the value remains same. The mass of a particular object remains the same. The value of pi is also constant and k is a constant. So these all factors remain constant. So it was able to be explained by Newton that the force acting on a planet is proportional or inversely proportional to the distance between it. So hence F is inversely proportional to the distance square. Thus Newton concluded that the centripetal force which is acting on the planet is responsible for its circular motion and must be inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the planet and the sun. Newton identified this force with the force of gravity, hence postulated the inverse square law of gravitation. So this is known as the inverse square law of gravitation. F is inversely proportional 1 upon d square is the inverse square law of gravitation. The gravitational force is much weaker than other forces in nature, but it controls the universe and decides its future. This is possible because of the huge masses of planets, stars, and other constituents of the universe. There are other forces also which are quite powerful than the gravitational force, but gravitational force is the force which is controlling the universe. How it is working, that is being controlled by the gravitational force because of the huge masses of planets, stars, and other constituents of the universe. Hope you understood this part.